Hi there guys, and welcome to a little special video that I'm wanting to do. Quite often a lot of people ask me to do sort of Q&A vlogs, and I am going to do sort of a more Leeds United specific one, which I know quite a few people would like to do, but one that I thought I'd do, which is a bit easier than getting loads of people to send in the questions and doing separate videos to ask for your questions to come in. I'm basically going to do one which was, it was one of these tagging videos that people do on YouTube, and I think it's called a TMI one. I've basically taken it off the last one that NerdCube did with Emma Blackery. So it's basically 49 questions. Well, I think it's 50, but one of them I'm not including. So it's just 49 questions. So here we go. What are you wearing? Well, as you can see, I'm wearing a Family Guy T-shirt with all the different characters on. Hang on, as you can see there. And I've just got some Leeds Rhinos tracky bottoms on, so nothing that interesting. Ever been in love? I have been in love. As people know, I was in a long relationship for over 6 years, so yes, I certainly have been in love. Don't recommend it for everyone. Ever had a terrible breakup? I wouldn't say it was a terrible break. No breakup is a nice breakup, I would say. But I mean, I consider a terrible breakup to be one of those where, you know, people really don't get on and it's all quite nasty, so it certainly wasn't that. So no, I've never had a terrible breakup. How tall are you? I'm about 5'7", I think. Just 5'7", so I'm not tall at all. A bit of a small guy, which in a job where you're having to work in warehouses and carry a lot of furniture about can be a little bit of a disadvantage, let's say. How much do you weigh? That's a good question. I'm not too sure, because I've actually been trying to lose a bit of weight recently. Because I was starting to get to a stage where I was really sort of unhappy with it, but I don't know, I'd say maybe 11.5 stone, but yeah, don't quote me on that, even though it's on the internet now. Any tattoos? Nope, no tattoos. Although I'd love one. I've always wanted one. I've always wanted, just on my arm here, I've always wanted the White Rose of Yorkshire with LUFC and calligraphy writing underneath it. So as well as sort of saving up, I'm also trying to get my nerves up to get it done. So yeah, no tattoos, but I do want some. Any piercings? Nope, no piercings. When I was in high school, in sixth form, I did get a lip piercing just here. Still got the hole from it, but funny story there. I had it for a while, and oh god, such an idiot. Basically, obviously being in school, we weren't really allowed them. So when it was during classes, obviously I didn't want to take the piercing out because I didn't want it to heal up. So when it was time for classes, I would just take the ball out of the end and just go into the classes with the back piece in. So one day I did that. Came back into the common room for lunch. Forgot to put the ball back onto the back piece. Started eating my lunch, and then all of a sudden realised that the back piece had gone missing. So obviously I'd swallowed it. So yes, it was a tense few days when I used to go to the toilet waiting for a little gold sharp piece of metal to return. Fun times. OTP. Now, actually, I had to look this up because I have no idea what it meant. And it basically means one true pairing, apparently. And I think it's mainly to do with fandoms and things. So it's like one true pairing, it's like your favourite couple sort of on TV. So, it's difficult to say, really. I mean, I'm wanting to, I don't know whether the answer is I can give it. Because they're not a couple as such. But for me, the pairing of Penny and Sheldon on The Big Bang Theory, although they don't get together, is just one of the way their characters together just never fail to make me laugh. I think they're absolutely wonderful. When it's just those two on screen together, it's always comedy gold for me. So it might not be a correct answer, but that's the answer I'm going with anyway. Favourite show? Well, I've just mentioned there. I'm a big fan of The Big Bang Theory. Family Guy, obviously, with the shirt. Really do like QI as well. But for me, true geek style, I'm going to have to go with Doctor Who. just because I basically grew up with my older brother, who was the biggest Doctor Who fan, obviously of all the older stuff. You know, Tom Baker was basically his hero, so he brought me up on a lot of those videos, and I started to watch all the others. So I was already a big fan of Doctor Who even before it came back with the new series and that. But even then, the new series got me hooked, and I've absolutely loved it. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Doctor Who. Favourite bands? Well, my all-time favourite band that will never change is a band called Less Than Jake. I've used their music on some of my videos before, so people will recognise them. And I like a lot of stuff like, you know, your Green Day, Offspring, Red Hot Chili Peppers, things like that. But I also like a lot of the sort of older rock stuff, so you're sort of looking at Fleetwood Mac, the Eagles, Black Sabbath, AC/DC, you know, all kind of things like that. Then Metallica. So not mainly your rock stuff really, but you know, I like your Oasises, your Keens. Yeah, I have a bit of a mixed flavour of music, but those are my sort of top bands. Something you miss? That's a bit of an odd question. Something I miss. I don't know. I don't so much miss school. I miss the sort of social time of school. I'm sure a lot of people know what I'm talking about. I mean, obviously the lesson size and everything of school, but there was, I think friends just seemed a lot closer, and obviously you were seeing people day in day out there. But there's just a lot of good memories for me personally from school. You know, I think when people say school days are sort of the best of your life, I think that's what they're talking about. Obviously, it comes with its downsides, but yeah, I'd say, you know, that time around the social side is something that I miss. Favourite song? That's I hate it when people ask that question, because there's so many, you know, amazing songs that, I mean, you can't even possibly, unless you literally just sit there and write down every single song that you consider to be your favourite song. I mean, I would be making a list for absolutely days on end. But if I was to choose one, I mean, one that I just always listened to, and one that got me through a lot of tough times sort of during school and around that time, this song called "The Science of Selling Yourself Short" by Less Than Jake. It's just a fantastic song. You know, great lyrics, a lot of meaning to the song, and the music that goes with it is just fantastic and typical Less Than Jake. So I'd say that's probably my favourite song. But like I said, there's so many to choose from. How old are you? I am 23. What is your zodiac sign? I'm Leo, Leo the Lion, but I'm star signs and all crap like that is a big no-no for me. Quality you look for in a partner? Well, for me, the first thing that really stands out for me is someone who makes you laugh, and just someone who you can talk to, just, you know, sort of constantly, and not run out of things to say, or, you know, any awkward silences, stuff like that. So, you know, a mixture of, so that's mainly your personality, but, you know, a mixture of being able to talk to and making me laugh, really. Favourite quote? Well, my favourite quote is one that is quite a well-known one, but at the time when I first saw it, I'd never heard of it before, and it meant so much to me. And it was left in my year 11 yearbook by one of my favourite teachers of all time, Mr. Weeks. He was just so fantastic, and he wrote that, remember that life is not measured by the number of breaths you take, but by the number of times your breath is taken away. And like I say, although I know it's a well-known one and people do know it, you know, to hear it at that time, and at a time where, you know, life was starting to change a lot, it just meant so much to me, and it's one that I've always kind of kept with me and sort of taken through life, and it's just it's a quote and a saying that really is true, actually. So yeah, that's my favourite quote. Favourite actor? For me, when I look at actors, because mainly the films that I watch are mainly comedies, so it's the comedy actors that really make me laugh, and it's a bit of a tie-up, really. I mean, I absolutely love Steve Carell. There's not many films that he's in that I've not liked, and and there was one film, I can't remember what it was, but it was quite a serious film. I mean, the world laughs in it, and I can't remember, was it something about Dan's life or something? If people know what I'm talking about, then put it in the comments. I can't remember off the top of my head, but I think he showed in that you know, he's not a sort of goofy, sort of playing around, you know, proper comedy actor. I mean, he played quite a serious role there, and quite a touching one as well. So I really like Steve Carell. But for me, just for the Naked Gun series and Airplane and his little minor roles in other films, Leslie Nielsen for me was just, he's my absolute hero. His comedy acting and his timing was, I mean, he was so made for those kind of films. And it really saddens me to see that they're actually thinking of making Naked Gun, of doing a remake of it, with the guy out of The Hangover, and that just makes me wince thinking about it, because Naked Gun without Leslie Nielsen's just not worth thinking about, is it? Favourite colour? Blue. Simple as that. Just always has been. Loud music or soft? Well, as you can probably tell from the bands that I reeled out before, definitely loud music for me. But you know, when the moment's right, soft music's good too. You know, some fantastic sort of soft ballads and that, especially rock ones as well. You know, everyone considers sort of rock and heavy metal music always to be your hardcore loud stuff. But you know, when a decent rock band does a nice sort of ballad, you really can't beat some of those as well. But yeah, mainly loud music. Where do you go when you're sad? I go into my happy place. I don't really know. That's I don't know. I just go into my head and just kind of stay there, and I don't know. Odd question. Let's go on, shall we? How long does it take you to shower? Well, about 10 minutes. Although I'd say 5 minutes of that is sort of, you know, actually getting clean, and the other 5 is just kind of resting there, being in absolute heaven, because I love showers. So yeah, first thing in the morning, having a shower, it really wakes you up. But I'll spend the majority of it just kind of laid against the wall and just being in absolute bliss, really. How long does it take you to get ready in the morning? Well, I suppose it depends what you're getting ready for. I mean, for work recently, I start work at 9, so I'll get up at 7:45, have a shower, have my breakfast, and then get dressed and you know, get ready. And I'm usually ready for quarter past 8 usually, and I just sort of sit and watch telly. So I don't know, maybe half an hour to really get everything ready in the morning. But like I say, if I really want to be, you know, ready very quickly, I can usually do it in about 5 seconds. So depends what I'm getting ready for. Ever been in a physical fight? No, I haven't. I've not even really been close to being in a physical fight either, really. With the amount of away games I've been to with Leeds United, you think that wouldn't be true. But no, I've never even been close to it, and it's not something I can say I really look forward to doing, or hope I ever have the chance to do. But no, it's never ever happened. Turn on. Okay.
8AH. My email address, david.hoyle@bbc.
Turn on. Turn off.
I'll find a version.
Right.
Got one, it'll be you.
There you go. Hope you're happy with that. The reason I joined YouTube? Well, the main reason when I first joined YouTube was because at the time that I did it, I was finally moving away from the journalism that I've been trying to do after leaving university. So to sort of try and feel like I was staying in, sort of being able to talk to people about sports and talk about things that I like doing, you know, I thought I'd start, you know, doing a vlog on YouTube, and hopefully, you know, people would start watching, which they did. And obviously, the main things that I watch on YouTube are a gaming channel. So like I say, I mean, the first main channel I watched was Dan Hardcastle's Nerdcube channel. And I always wanted to kind of do gaming videos as well, so I started doing that as well, and it just kind of went on from there. So yeah, that's why I joined. Fears. Well, speaking as someone suffering with depression, sort of fears is the fear of failure, really. I mean, looking at your sort of proper, the fears that people used to talking about. I'm not a big fan of spiders. I'm not going to say I'm not a big fan of heights. It's the fear of falling from big heights, which is what I always get confused with. But yeah, sort of looking at particular fears, the fear of failure, I think, is something that really gets to me, and is sort of a worry. So yeah, those are the main fears. Last thing that made you cry. I'm not usually one for properly, bawling my eyes out, but the last thing that definitely brought a tear to my eye was the recent news of a death close to the family, which was quite a sudden and really unexpected one, and wasn't a nice way to start the new year off at all. So yeah, that was probably the last thing there. Last time you said you loved someone? Probably my mum or my dad or my parents at some point. So that wouldn't have been too long ago. Meaning behind your YouTube name? Well, it's just Jonesy LUFC. So my last name's Jones. My nickname has sort of always been Jonesy. And I'm a Leeds United fan, so pretty simple, really. Last book you read? I'm not sure. When I'm reading books, I'm quite weird. I don't tend to stick to one book at a time, so it can take me quite a while to sort of complete books. But the last one that I completed, hang on, let's see if I can find it, is probably Nick Hornby's Fever Pitch, which is a fantastic book, especially for all football fans. It's basically about an Arsenal supporter. It's quite an old book. There was also a film about it, so I mean a lot of people will probably know about it, but if you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend all football fans giving this a good read. The book you're currently reading? The book I'm currently reading, the one that I started just the other day, quite an odd one. It's basically the Prince by Niccolo Machiavelli. A very short book, but it's basically a sort of classic, and I just decided to get it after there was a programme on BBC the other night with Alan Yentob, and it was basically talking all about this, and it, giving the proper Machiavellian sort of way of life, and I just thought it looked interesting. So yeah, that's the book that I'm reading at the moment. It's not the easiest of reads, but it's definitely quite an interesting one. Last show you watched? That was probably this morning, watching Match of the Day that I recorded. That was probably the last. Well, the last show technically on the TV at the moment is the Masters Snooker. So yeah, but last TV show that I watched, because it's a live event, isn't it? So yeah, Match of the Day was the last show. Last person you talked to? Last person I talked to face was my dad when I went down to get some lunch. Interesting stuff on this channel. The relationship between you and the last person you texted? Let's see, I'm not too sure. Who was the last person yeah, that's a bit awkward actually. Favourite food? Pizza. Pizza. Place you want to visit? Well, as people know, Italy is one of my most favourite places on the planet, so to visit more places in Italy would be really, really great. But I'm quite a big fan of stargazing, so to go somewhere in the world, so places like Africa, South Africa, and other places like that have next to nothing of light pollution, and just to get to see a proper clear sky, get to see the Milky Way properly, would be an absolute dream. And America, I've always really wanted to visit there, more so in the past few years, but to go to New York maybe around Christmas time would be really nice. So yeah, maybe doing Route 66 and just calling off at basically all the places that have been on Man vs Food, and just to try all that. That's the main reason, really. Last place you were? Well, here in my room. That's where I am. question. Do you have a crush? Does it mean celebrity crush? I don't know. I mean, celebrity crush, Katy Perry, for me, is just perfection. I mean, it just doesn't get better than Katy Perry. So, yeah, that's my crush. Last time you kissed someone, properly kissed someone, well, when I was last in my relationship, so June, really. Wow, that's depressing. Next question. Last time you were insulted? Probably a couple of days ago, texting someone and not getting a reply from them when you really wanted a reply for them. I was taking it as a bit of an insult, really. So yeah, not so long ago. Favourite flavour of sweet? Aniseed. Absolute aniseed balls. Oh, I could just eat them all day. Pear drops as well. They're good. They're pretty good. In fact, yeah, I'll go for pear drops over aniseed. Because they're just, oh. I once went to a sweet factory. I can't remember where it was when I was younger, and they made pear drops freshly in front of us, and we got to eat them pretty much straight from there. And I think that is possibly the nearest I've come to a food orgasm ever. It was, oh, yeah, pear drops. Pear drops. What instruments do you play? Well, I own a guitar. I have played the guitar, but not very well. So, the answer to the question is guitar, but to say I'm playing it is a bit of an overstatement, really. Favourite piece of jewellery? Well, I don't really wear a lot of jewellery. I mean, I do have this. That I kind of wear, this chain, which I've just kind of worn for ever, really. Favourite piece of jewellery? Well, there's my watch, which is actually broken at the moment. It's been on 10 o'clock for about a good month now, so I really need to get a battery in that. So I suppose that's what I wear most. But yeah, I don't really wear a lot of jewellery, so yeah, I'll go with my watch. Last sport you played? Well, sort of days are well past me of playing football, so I mainly play a lot of snooker and pool. So I think snooker's the last thing I played with one of my mates not so long ago. Last song you sang? The last song, my parents were out and I was listening to Les and Jake's most recent album, See the Light, and I was singing out loud to Good Enough. Again, people haven't heard Les and Jake's newest album, go give it a listen, because it's, after 20 years of the band being together, I think is it 22 years now, and this is the latest album, and it's just, I think for me it's one of the best. It's absolutely fantastic. But yeah, Good Enough is the first track off there, and it's an absolute belter. Favourite chat up line? Have you ever used it? Last time you hung out with anyone? Probably. What hung out? So what? With mates? With family? I mean, hung out with family around New Year's. But last time I hung out with a mate, probably just before Christmas, I'd say. So that was my TMI blog. 49 questions there, riveting stuff. I think you'll agree. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed it, guys. It's quite a fun thing to do, is that? So I hope people that wanting a Q&A. This will put you on for a little bit. Like I say, people that want a Leeds United specific one, I will be doing that a little bit later in the year. But yeah, like I say, guys, hope you enjoyed that. And you meant to tag people on this. It's meant to be one of those tagging videos, but I'm not doing that. But you know, any people that follow me that have their own YouTube channels, I'd say go and do it, 'cause it's quite a lot of fun. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it, guys, and I will speak to you all very soon. Now, where did I put those pear drops?